up, guys? I'm Kel, Red Zone Rogue, and today I want to talk about Force of Will. Specifically, I want to talk about the direction that the company is going with their most recent changes, as well as the new starter deck coming out, and of course, the Time-Spinning Witch. And for that, I will go over like my top 10-ish cards that they've released so far. How about that? Top 10 cards? I think some of them are pretty cool, and they do some interesting things there. So, without further ado, let's talk about the direction the company is going, because it really seems like the company is, you know, getting their shit together. They've released a couple of transparency posts on their main website talking about, you know, what they stand for and what they believe in and all that stuff. But more importantly, they have released the information about their new global liaison. And you may have known that Force of Will used to have a community manager type person named Jordan. He left the company for whatever reasons, and they have a new global liaison named Jeff, or called Jeff. I actually don't know who this guy is. Apparently he had something to do with making some websites or something. I don't actually know anything about that, but it seems like it's a good step in the right direction. They really needed this kind of person. They did say that they want to maybe bring back the Q&A streams, which I loved. I watched every single Q&A stream, so if you guys are into that, I will definitely be in the chat for those. And yeah, I am very eager to see what they do. Overall, I think these changes are really good. It shows that, like I said, they're getting their shit together. I really hope this is a turning point for the game. I've been with Force of Will since Moon Priestess Returns, and I cannot stress how much I want this game to be a success. I think this game is awesome, and it deserves, or not really deserves, but hopefully it shows that it deserves to stand the test of time. You know, it's a cool game, and it definitely has the potential to be really, truly great. So that's all I have to say about that for now. Let's talk about some of the upcoming products. Oh, no, wait, that is not true. There is one other thing I want to talk about. So I'm recording this on the 13th, February 13th. On the 14th, well, basically on the 14th up through the 25th. So yeah, from February 14th to February 25th, if you have the Force of Will Willpower app, you can put in your information and join the My Will, My Game campaign to get like a free promo full art booty cat, or Cheshire Cat, the Grinning Remnant, which is like, it's a full art one, and it has like the stamp that says My Will, My Game. You probably see it on the screen right now. It's probably been there for a couple seconds. But I think that's pretty cool. It is kind of like a limited thing, and it's kind of like a lottery thing. Not everyone is going to get this. They have an official post about this on the Force of Will website, and you know, I'm going to be putting my info in. You guys should put in your info just to, maybe you'll get something sweet. So yeah, it's kind of like a 3-year celebration, kind of giving back to people who have been playing a long time, and new players as well. But they're giving you like a staple, you know, at one time one of the most expensive cards in the entire game, the infamous Booty Cat. They're not worth too much these days, but I think it's still really cool that they're kind of giving a nod to the classic Force of Will players. As a huge Wanderer player myself, I think this is very, very cool. Anyway, now we can start talking about some of the new products coming out. The first one I want to talk about is the new starter deck. It's going to be coming out on March 3rd, I believe, the same time as the Time-Spinning Witch. Don't quote me on that, but that's what the distributor I was looking at was saying. It's called the Lost Tomes. We don't really know what cards are in it, but just by this promotional material that you're seeing on the screen right now, we can see that the J ruler is Gil Al-Hamat. You can see like Rachel and some other like Alsaris, some other like Gil Al-Hamat-y themed characters. I don't know who like the witch girl with the fire is. Is that? I don't really know who this is. Maybe these are like some of the 7 luminaries, or something that's like a dragon girl in the top corner that maybe could be Sylvia. I don't know. Anyway, I think this is really cool. I'm obviously going to be buying one of these, and I'll be opening up on the channel, giving you my thoughts on whether or not it is a good product. I already have my product, you know, pre-ordered and all of that stuff. I have to buy all this stuff myself. I still don't have a sponsor or anything, but I digress. Let's move on to the next thing, which of course is the Time-Spinning Witch. And I do want to cover one thing real quick. Here on the screen, you should be seeing a box. That's what the boxes are going to be coming in now. I think they're getting rid of those really cool, like hard cardboard boxes that were in the last couple sets, which is a bummer. I really liked those boxes. Looks like they're going back to like the old school. This is probably to cut costs. I understand, but the other ones were really cool. It was something that made the game stand out and showed that they like really cared about their products, which, you know, I guess all companies care about their products to a certain degree, but I thought that little extra step was really cool. So that's kind of a bummer. We don't actually know if there's going to be box toppers like there used to be as well. So that's up in the air. Maybe no box toppers. Maybe they're just trying to cut costs as much as possible. As long as the card quality is still good, I'll be happy for the most part. But yeah, there's that. And then on the next image I got here, this is the playmat. This is the Buy a Box promo playmat. It is a very, very cool playmat. This is one of the times I will not be getting this playmat because you need to buy 6 boxes to get this. Fucking 6 boxes. That is so many boxes. That's way too much. I liked the 3, like buy 3 boxes to get a playmat. I think that was cool because buying 3 boxes would get you like a playset of almost everything in the set. But 6 is like absurd. It's a really good playmat too. It's got like all y'all waifus on here, and they're looking pretty good. So yeah, I will not be getting this, at least through the Buy a Box promo or the Buy a Box program, I suppose. I might buy one just, you know, separately. But that's that. Here's also, you know, some of the art for Time Spinning Witch, which is awesome. So that's some spoilers there. I think the art is awesome. And with that said, let's actually jump in. Oh, no. I also want to say, I keep getting ahead of myself in this video. I'm too eager to talk. I haven't talked about Force of Will in a while. The Buy a Box promo that's in every single box is Alice's World of Madness, which is a pretty good card, actually, and has pretty good art. So that's like a win-win. This is a really, you know, I'm going to be happy that I'm getting a bunch of these in the boxes that I'm getting as promos. So that's pretty cool. And now, without further ado, let's start talking about some of the cards in the set. And this is going to be in no particular order. I just have these images on my computer, and I'm just going to read them as they come. So the first card I want to talk about from the Time Spinning Witch is Thought Control. It's just an uncommon. It features my girl Scheherazade. It is a 1 darkness chant. It says your opponent reveals their hand, choose a card with total cost 3 or less, and they discard that card. This card's awesome. There's already a bunch of really effective discard spells in Force of Will with Scorn of Dark Alice and the Nameless Mist, and I think this is another really good discard spell. The rider of having to discard 3 or less, or having to choose a card with total cost 3 or less, isn't that big of a deal. There's a lot of, you know, total cost 3 or less. Doesn't hit Severing Winds, which is kind of a bummer, but it's still a pretty good card, and I think it will see some play, and I'm definitely going to play around with it. Yeah, next up, let's talk about... Ooh, this is going to be one of my favorite cards in the set, I think. I think it's a really interesting card. So, this is the Ruler, Speaker of Eternal Night, obviously. It's Scheherazade. She has a Judgment of 2 Wind and 1 of any. She has an Energize of a Darkness or a Wind. And she has this really weird, cool mechanic. It says, Grimoire, begin the game with an extra deck of up to 5 story chants. You may not have more than 1 copy of any card in your extra deck. So it's like Grimoire 5, you have to have up to 5 story chants. It says dolls in your hand gain quick cast. So she's got like this doll sub theme. So okay, let's stop there before we go down any further. She has an extra deck called like your story Grimoire deck thing. And then you also have this doll sub theme going on. So this ruler has a ton going on. And for 0, you can reveal a face down card from your extra deck and keep it revealed until end of game. You may copy that card. If you do, you may play the ability. Play this ability only once per turn. So basically you get to reveal these story cards once per turn, and then you can like play them. That's really cool. It's like you give a lot of versatility in revealing cards that can do pretty cool things. I don't know if we have all of the story cards revealed at this time, but as long as they're good, I think this is a really good ability. And let's talk about her J-Ruler side. This is Scheherazade of the Catastrophic Knights. This card is super awesome. She has Flying. She's a 1,000 human J-Ruler. Dolls in your hand gain quick cast, so that's cool. All your dolls have quick cast no matter what. So that's really sweet. It says when this card enters the field, put target doll from your graveyard into the field. That's pretty cool. You get to res one of your dolls. She has Legend 3, so it's another like keyword ability other than Grimoire on the other side. It says when this card enters the field, put target non-Magic Stone, non-J-Ruler entity from your or your opponent controls on top of its owner's deck. So you get to put like you know, a resonator or an addition or something like that on top of their deck. It's pretty sweet. And it says when this card enters the field for the Legend 5, search your deck for a doll and put it onto the field, then shuffle your deck. And I believe what Legend actually means, and this is from a German spoiler article, so I don't actually know 100% sure, but Legend, the number, that's the number of extra deck cards you have revealed. So, you know, on the ruler side, you can reveal an extra deck card, like a story card, every single turn, once per turn. And that Legend is the number. So you kind of want to wait until you have at least 5, and then you can J-activate her and you get all these abilities. That's pretty cool. I think this card is awesome. I definitely want to make a deck around it. It's one of those cards that you really have to build a deck around because it's very specific. It's got like all this story stuff and all this doll stuff going on. I think it could be like a pretty good control ruler, depending on how good the dolls are. Maybe it could be an aggro ruler, but maybe even like a mid-range tempo kind of thing. But I really like it. It's right up my alley, and Scheherazade was my very first ruler back in the day. Good old Liberator of Wind. And yeah, can't wait to get some more Scheherazade in. The next card I want to talk about is a new mechanic, and also maybe one of the best cards in the set. I don't know, it's hard to say, but this card's awesome. It's called Twin Blades of Hope and Despair, and it's a chant for 1 darkness and 1 light, and has quick cast. Target resonator you control gets +600/+600, and target resonator your opponent controls gets -600/-600 until end of turn. Then remove this card inverted from the game. For 2, that is a huge swing. Like, that's 1,200 points of, you know, power and toughness swing. That's pretty sweet. And then it has this second part where it says, then remove this card inverted from the game. So that's not all. The card has a flip side. This is like a two-faced card. So the flip side is Sword of Fate, and I'd like to comment now. The art on both of these cards is absolutely awesome. And Sword of Fate costs 2 light and 2 darkness, and it's a chant inverse. If this card moves to a non-chase zone, flip it over. So it's inversed if it's in a non-chase zone. Play this card only from your removed area. Choose one. Destroy target J Resonator, or put target Resonator with total cost 5 or less from your graveyard into the field. So the first side, you get to buff a dude and like almost kill a dude, or maybe just straight up kill a dude, and then you get a removal spell or like this kind of reanimator spell. I think this card is amazing. It has so much versatility. It's a removal spell, it's a pump spell, it's a reanimation spell. The reanimation spell, you know, it's kind of limited, has to be 5 or less, but I still think it's awesome. This card is absolutely fantastic. It'll definitely see play, and it's definitely one of my favorite cards from the set so far. It's probably going to be, you know, straight up one of my favorite cards in the set. Next, we're going to talk about the other interesting ruler that was featured recently. This is the Princess of Fleeting Hope. Obviously, it's Lumia. This is the ruler side. She's a ruler human. She has a judgment of 2 light. She has an energize of a light and a darkness. And it says, recover target resonator. Play this ability only during your opponent's turn and only once per turn. So it kind of has like this, you can attack and then you can like recover your guys on your opponent's turn to block, or you can recover your guys and use their like rest abilities. It's got that kind of thing going on for it. It's, you know, just the ruler side, it's okay. It's okay. But it has this weird J-ruler side. So the J-ruler side is Imul, Princess of Despair. And yeah, we all see what you did there, Lumia backwards. It has an attack and defense of 300, so it's a 300/300. That's really small. The art speaks for itself. Remember how they said they wanted to tone it down? Yeah, they're not fucking toning it down. Anyway, this is a J-ruler human, even though she has wings. She should probably be an angel, but whatever. She has flying. She has imperishable, which I think is awesome. She has drain, which is like lifelink or something like that from Magic. Whenever it deals damage, you gain that much life. It's only 300/300, so that's kind of small. However, when this card enters the field, look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You may put a non-chant card with total cost 3 or less from among them onto the field. So basically, you get a resonator or like an addition. You may invert that card. So if that card has an invert ability, you can do that. And then put the rest and then put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. This card gains +200/+200 for each inverse entity you control. So remember how the last chant we looked at was like an inverse chant? Yeah, there's a bunch of resonators that are also inverse resonators. These are kind of like your werewolves from Magic the Gathering, how they had like one side and they flip, transform to another side. They're very close to that. We have seen stuff like this in Force of Will in the past, and this is like their new incarnation. They're called Invert. I'm not going to be covering any other Invert cards, but they're fairly interesting, and I think this J Ruler, other than like the amazing artwork, I think it's a pretty interesting card, and definitely people are going to try this out. I hope I get one. So the next card we're going to talk about is another Darkness Chant. It's called Soul Concentration. This one's really simple, but it's something that I've wanted for a long time, ever since Raya was spoiled. So it is a single Darkness quick cast chant. Choose one. Put 3 mystery counters on your J Ruler, or put 2 +100/+100 counters on target J Resonator you control. Finally, we fucking finally get some decent mystery counter generation for Raya. It doesn't replace itself, it doesn't draw a card, which is the biggest downside, but 3 mystery counters is kind of a lot, or you can use it as like a kind of a pump spell. Yeah, this card's sweet. I'm probably going to test this out in my Raya deck. Probably going to have an updated version of that Raya deck on the channel at some point in the future after this set comes out. And I'm probably going to wait until all of her sealed abilities are released, and then I'll make a new Raya control deck video. But yeah, this card's awesome. Not much else to say. Raya really needed like some kind of mystery counter generation. Well, maybe she didn't need it in this form. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out, but I definitely want to try it out. So next up I have a Light Resonator, which is crazy for me because I'm not a huge fan of Light and Force of Will, but I think this card's really good. It's called the Jewel Princess. It's uncommon. It's a 100/100 for 2 light. It's a fairy tale. That's also relevant. And when this card enters the field, destroy any rested Resonator. So destroy target rested Resonator. Gain a gem of any attribute. This card is awesome for the gem deck. Absolutely awesome for Tigris. He's kind of a deck that I still think is fairly weak, and I think something like this is absolutely fantastic. It's a fairy tale, so it kind of doesn't have the panda theme going on, but it's just a 2-cost removal spell, and you gain a gem. Like, I see no downside here, and it's uncommon. This is an insane limited card. Absolutely insane. So, Jewel Princess, awesome card. Just, you know, pretty weak attack and defense, but I wouldn't look at it as a Resonator. It's more like a, you know, a kill spell that you can block with. Next up, I have another Darkness Chant. This one is a rare. It features the new Nyarlathotep on the art. She looks pretty cool. It's called Heavenly Fruit. It's a 1-cost or 1 darkness cost chant. It says discard your hand. So we're going in, guys. This card's all in. You may play Resonators from your graveyard this turn. So you can just play dudes from your graveyard. If a card would be put into your graveyard from anywhere, remove it from the game instead. And since that last line is on the very end of this, you know, this paragraph, when you discard your hand, it's not removed from the game. So you discard your hand, put it in your graveyard, then you can play Resonators, and then if a card would be put in the graveyard from anywhere, removed from the game instead. You can actually play stuff that you discard from your hand with this card, which is good. It's got like some built-in synergy. I think this card's very interesting. I don't know how good it is. It requires a very specific like Reanimator style deck, or even like a ramp Reanimator style deck, or something. It also reminds me of kind of like the old school Necronomicon, which will let you play cards from your graveyard, but when they're put in the graveyard, you're removed from the game, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, this card's sweet. I really like it. I hope it sees play somewhere, because I think it's really cool. Next up, we have another uncommon. This is a 600/600 2-drop mermaid called Silent Mermaid. And it says, as long as the weather is thunderstorm, your opponent cannot play cards during your turn. That's really sweet. So it basically means on your turn, if your weather is thunderstorm, and there are ways to turn the weather into thunderstorm in this set, you can look them up for yourself. Some of them are not super exciting. Some of them are like, if your weather is rain on your turn, it is thunderstorm instead, kind of thing. But this makes it so your opponent can't cancel your spells because they can't play spells on your turn. That's awesome. I think this is actually going to be really good in like an aggro style, like Mermaid Shayla kind of deck, and I think Shayla is going to get like a good bump in this set. I'm excited for that because once again, I'm probably going to do an updated version of my Shayla deck strategy video. because I think Shayla is really cool, and she does not get the attention that she deserves. And as a Resonator, 600 for 2 is just pretty good in itself. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be playing around with this card. Next up, we have an incredibly powerful Resonator. So this is Ultra Dragon Shooting Star. It is a 1000 Dragon Guardian Resonator for 3 red. So red, or fire, 3 fire. It has flying. It has barrier, water, and darkness, so it's very resilient to removal spells. Unless your opponent's playing one of the myriad of the fucking wind removal spells that wind somehow has. Anyway, I digress. It says, whenever a Resonator enters the field under your opponent's control without being played from your opponent's hand, this card deals 2,000 damage to it. So this card wrecks Reanimator, it wrecks Lumia, anything that gets flickered, anything that just wrecks it. Like, if it's not coming in from the hand, it's gonna die, basically. So that's very interesting. Just there, if that was it, this card would be fantastic. It does have a little rider. It says, when this card is put into a graveyard from the field, discard a card at random. So it does have some, like, balancing there. I mean, 1000 for 3 with flying and barrier and a good upside is a lot. This is a lot. It does have some downside to it, but you can kind of play around that. If you're playing maybe your own Reanimator style deck, because it only has the rider under your opponent's control for the, you know, being blasted for 2,000 damage. I think this card's awesome. I think this card will see play for sure. It's very, very powerful, very pushed card, and it looks awesome. It's just awesome all around. And the final card I want to talk about today is Lorite 7 Luminaries Astrologian. Oh boy, and this is gonna be the card that everyone complains about. Well, most people complain about. So this is a quick cast elf for 1 wind. It's a 100/200. When this card enters the field, cancel, target, activate, or automatic ability your opponent controls. So it is a 1-drop Resonator that has a cancel ability. But that's not all. It has more stuff. And you can remove 3 Spirit Magics in your graveyard from the game and put this card from your graveyard in your hand. So it's a cancel spell. Well, can only cancel, activate, or automatic abilities. Okay. But you can keep redoing it. So it's kind of like the Spirit Magic synergy for Gil. This card is very, very good. It'll probably see a lot of play. A lot of people are really not happy about the amount of cancels in Wind right now because it's getting kind of oppressive. People are just slamming Wind into whatever deck they want because they need cancels, and severing Winds is ridiculous. So I'm not putting this on my list because I like it. I'm putting it on my list because I think it's important. And yeah, that's all I have to say about that. So that was the final card I wanted to talk about for the time spinning witch. I think the set is going to be really cool. I did hear that they wanted to change the ruler ratios. I really fucking hope to God they do, because they were horrible in the last set. Absolutely horrible. Like, I mean, as a whole, I really liked Advent of the Demon King. IU is still one of my favorite rulers, but goddamn, those ratios are horrible. They're soul crushing, especially if you bought all of the starter decks already. Just getting like fucking 3 pandas. It's not fun. And opening booster packs should be fun because 1, you spent money on it, and 2, you're getting new cards to make, you know, decks with and stuff. So I hope you guys liked the video. This is gonna be something I want to do more often, just telling you my thoughts about Force of Will and, you know, cards that are coming out. I used to do spoiler videos, but they've been releasing spoilers so fucking fast recently. I don't have the time to keep up with them. So I still want to talk about what I think about the sets. And I think this is basically how I'm going to do it. I'm just going to randomly, somewhere through spoiler season, just pick some cards and tell you the ones that I like, or ones that I think are interesting, or will have impact, you know, that kind of stuff. And I want you guys to tell me what you think about the cards. Did I miss something that's really awesome? Maybe something that got spoiled more recently than when I recorded this video. Like I said, I'm recording this on the 13th. So maybe they're going to come out with some fucking awesome shit on like the 14th or something. If you like the video, then leave a like, comment, and or subscribe. It really helps the channel a lot, and I very much appreciate it. Mr. Jeff, Global Liaison Man, if you are watching this video, which you probably are not, but if you are, just know that myself and probably other YouTubers like me, we are more than willing to do some like official Force of Will collaboration stuff. So yo, hit me up. Anyway, guys, I think I'm gonna end on that. Totally not subtle shill at all. They probably won't do anything, but that's okay. It's kind of fun being independent as it is. Alright, I've talked enough. I'll see you guys later.